What's up, Internet? Jeff here. You know what can really ruin a good wrestling match? A bad finish. And guess what? That also holds true for movies, TV show. You invest so much emotion in there, and then all of a sudden, a finish will come in and basically fuck up everything you did, and then you don't go home happy. So we're going to call this segment Botched Finish. Mario, what do you think?
I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are we talking about?
Today we're going to be talking about The Little Things. That's the new movie that dropped on HBO and in theaters, HBO Max in theaters, that had Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and Rami Malek.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because guess what? What the fuck was that finish? Oh. They botched that finish. That was a botched finish.
Okay, well, let's
start from the beginning.
Let's tell them what the film's about first.
Yeah. So basically, the film is he starts off as a sheriff in a town, and we don't really get the gist of what he's doing, but we knew there was a seedy past as far as like something went wrong with a murder mystery.
Yeah, he had to leave his old job and take this job as a sheriff of a small town.
Yeah, exactly. He had a heart attack. He got a divorce. Something was all fucked up.
I think he was a big-time LA detective previously.
Yeah, exactly. So he had to go back to his old stomping grounds and figure it out. And you can tell he starts walking around. Some people kind of hold him in high regards, but some people don't. And you knew, something really big happened here.
Yeah.
So he runs into hotshot new detective, right? Then that's the character that Rami Malek is playing. So
Freddie Mercury himself.
Freddie Mercury, that's right. And he went in there, and you can tell he's curious about him, right? He's a detective, so he wants to figure it out. And then next thing you know, he gets, every time he's out, they pull him back in.
Yeah.
You know, just that old detective in him wants to go in there. There's a big murder mystery that's happening. They alluded to in the beginning, they had basically that Silence of the Lambs beginning, right? That it's just like, but it wasn't the iconic song, right? It wasn't American Girl.
No.
But they did use an iconic song, right?
Yeah. And it felt like your standard serial killer investigation procedural type of film.
Yeah, so
we've seen with various characters. We've seen it with Morgan Freeman.
Right. Yeah, I got that Seven vibe from this as well.
Felt very Seven.
Yeah, and it's just like, but the only difference was in the beginning when you thought that girl was going to get murdered, she did not get murdered. She actually got away. Yeah, so that was a little bit different. So he gets pulled in, right? And look, I don't want to hate on like the movie as a whole just because Denzel Washington was great.
Denzel is great in everything that he does.
Yeah.
He is like the last, I think, great American movie star.
Yeah.
Anything Denzel in, that's a movie.
Yeah.
If you film Denzel doing something, that's a film.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like scripts probably could get pitched on the fact that these words, Denzel says these words.
Yeah. Oh.
Get it? You get it now?
Yeah, now you see it. It's Denzel blank.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
So I mean, he does great with the material. Everything he's saying.
Yeah, and so does Rami Malek. Rami Malek was good.
Strong actors. I mean, it's a trio
I
of strong
love
actors.
Mr. Robot. He was so good in Mr. Robot, and he was so great as Freddie Mercury. So, again, great performances. And then great performances, Jared Leto. He did really, this guy, he played like the creepy number one suspect, right?
Yeah. He plays a creep really well.
He did. He had the weird pot belly. He had a weird limp, but he had a nice car. And it's just like, what's going on? And just like, how's the trunk space? And that was very creepy, right? That he had that. So all the performances were great.
Yeah.
Look, they did like a typical wrestling match, right? That you want to stay invested in it. And I stayed invested for the entire time. You know, and then I think towards the start of the third act is when things started going left.
Yeah, so
that's when the finish started to get botched.
Yeah, so it follows down a pretty predictable, maybe is too strong a word, but it's the trajectory you feel is the right one. They kind of think it's Jared Leto. They're trying to prove it. They don't really have proof, so they've got to bend the law a little bit so they can find the proof. But now they have the proof, but they bent the rules so they can't use the proof.
Yes.
So, okay, we've been there before.
Yeah, and then they started to hint that maybe Jared Leto was just a fucking mark for murders.
Yeah.
Right? That it's just like maybe he didn't do it, but, look, maybe he's just like one of those females on Friday nights that love watching those serial killer documentaries. That's the feeling I got. He's got newspaper clip, when Denzel breaks in the house. He's got the clippings, and it's just like, look, society's digging. I'm not a fan of that, but they're digging on it right now. It's just like, looking
There's
at
whole entire networks just based on that.
Yeah. It's just like, oh man, it's just like this
serial killer 24/7.
Yeah, investigation network. And it's just like, maybe that's all fucking Jared Leto's doing. He's just a mark for this shit.
Yeah.
So it's just like, fine, whatever. It's just like, then they start, I don't know. He's getting Rami Malek, who's just like the ambitious, the Sean Penn character in Colors, right? He's the hotshot rookie that's ready to run down and fuck one cow instead of walking down and fucking them all, right? So it's just like, so of course Jared Leto starts pulling him in. It's just like, oh, okay, I can tell you who did this, but you can tell he's just a mark. He loves being. He's like, I'm just happy to be here.
I love how he plays it so he cares so little about anything that he just wears his work uniform the whole film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he wears it to all day on the bus.
Yeah, it's just like he works at like a laundromat.
He works at an appliance repair shop.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, so he can repair those big giant freezers where you stuff the bodies, right? But they made him look like they gave him the heel face, but. At the end, he just like he pulls Rami Malek and he's just too ambitious and he pulls him in there and look, Denzel knew. Yeah. Denzel walked away for 1 second and then that was it. So yeah, right?
This is where the film starts to go in a direction that I just don't understand.
They were already hinting that Denzel has something shady. They kept doing a lot of flashbacks in the past, but you couldn't figure out.
Right.
It was not clear exactly what happened, but
and for a while I thought, wait a minute, are they going to try and tell us that Denzel is the actual killer here?
I was worried about that. I was worried about that swerve. Look, I'm not ready for a Denzel heel turn. Not in this movie, not in 2021.
No, he's like John Cena. They're never going to turn him.
No, it's just like I don't want to see it. Right? It's just like. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that, and they started to hint to that, and they were starting to tease to that. But then, they had the big scene at the end, basically the big finish. Rami Malek, Jared Leto was like, dig a hole there. That's where the body is.
Well, but just to double back a little bit, it just seems so odd that Denzel's gone for 5 minutes. I don't know, would he go get coffee or something? And then all of a sudden, Rami Malek's jumping in a car with Jared Leto to go drive and dig a hole in the desert. What?
Why the fuck did you get in the car?
Yeah,
There's just no way you're going to get in the car. It's just like, Jared Leto had like a size advantage, clearly. It's just like, and I know, obviously he had a gun, but it's just like, why the fuck are you going to get in the car?
Yeah.
It's just, this literally could have been fucking Kurt Russell in Death Proof, and he could have just said, the view's better on this side, and he could have started fucking running into walls, and he could have took him out. I thought that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Right there. And then he starts driving in the middle of nowhere. It's just like, why are you doing this? So he started making a lot of those moves. He literally had those moves that you're like, people will start screaming at the screen. Why are you doing this?
Right. Yeah, very much so. I was yelling at my Roku.
Yeah.
It's like, why is he doing this? This seems so out of character.
It was.
He spent the whole film trying to prove that he was a great detective.
Yeah.
And then you just jump in a car with the main suspect and drive to the desert. That makes no sense.
It's like, why would you do that? And then like literally when he started his like dig there and he's like, I'm not going to dig. Jared Leto's like, I'm not going to dig. I was like, oh, don't do this. Don't make him dig his own grave. I'm going to hate that finish if you literally made, because we liked Rami Malek. We saw his wife. We met his kids.
We don't know why he buys into this all of a sudden.
No, I have no idea why he did.
He just literally left Denzel at the coffee shop.
Yeah, he didn't. So it's just like no BRB or anything like that. Or said text, nothing. So it's just like, but luckily Denzel did see him, right? And he threw the coffee. He didn't have to throw. It's like, shit, why'd you throw the coffee?
Yeah, no.
But he threw the coffee, got in the car, and then he starts trying to find him. So it's just like, oh, man. So we're back out there. Boom, boom, boom. Digging the graves. Oh, that's not where the hole is. Maybe the hole's there. Digging, boom, boom, boom. He's in a fucking suit coat. It's a tie. He's sweat. It's dirty. I felt dirty. Yeah. That's when I started to feel, I don't want to walk out of the movie feeling dirty. This isn't Faces of Death movie. I don't want to feel dirty after I watch it. But he's digging holes. He start digging holes. It's just like, oh man, it's just like Shia LaBeouf would be like, I can dig holes too. It's just like, doesn't remind me of fucking holes. It's like you see holes all over this field. It's just like we'd have said, do it. Shia's out there, dig the hole, but he's digging it. So then what was the swerve? Well, not the swerve.
Yeah.
Basically, we had that moment. He was the emperor at that moment to do it.
Yeah.
He's just like, he felt like he was trying to lure him. Jared Leto had easy access to the gun.
Yeah.
As he was digging, he could have grabbed Rami's gun and shot him, but he didn't. But he was egging him on. He just kept talking shit, trying to get him to have that heel turn. And he did.
Yep.
He fucking shellacked him with that shovel right in the face. Yeah. One punch. He was done.
Just seems so out of character.
It did.
For Rami Malek in that part. I forgot his name in the film, but it's a weird turn. just a not believable turn.
No, Detective Baxter was his
Detective
name.
Baxter,
Yeah,
there
that
you
was
go.
his name in there. And Albert Sparma. What a great name for Jared Leto. It's just like Sparma. It's just
Yeah,
like that is a heel
That
name.
sounds like a skin
That is
condition
a
you
heel
get.
name. Yeah, exactly.
Requires ointments and
You
whatnot.
know, you got some Sparma right there. It's just like, but yeah, he was clearly trying to aggravate Rami Malek, but it's just like, that's when I got that Seven moment. It's like, did you want him to kill you? Like, did you want us like, I'm such a fucking mark for, murder mysteries and shit.
Yeah.
I want to be murdered.
Yeah, I don't know that was clear, but
But it felt like that was the Seven. It's just like, I felt like lure me in, become vengeance. And
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, boom, right across the face with the shovel. And then that was it. And then luckily at that point, Denzel found him. He realized what happened here. Just like, oh, okay. Didn't think twice, the band of brothers, we're going to clean this up. You do this. He started basically controlling the situation. He controlled the narrative at that point. You're going to do this. Nobody's going to miss this piece of shit.
Right.
We're going to just move on.
which is at that point we finally get the final flashback where we see what Denzel's past was.
Right.
So he accidentally killed an innocent woman.
He accidentally killed the innocent woman who could have told him who the killer was.
Right.
She was a clean witness, and
Yeah.
she didn't do that.
Yeah.
He accidentally shot her because he was very ambitious, right? He wanted to do that. They were under a bridge. It was very leery. So I mean, he didn't do it on purpose.
There wasn't a lot of context to that scene. It just seemed like he just shot her. It just started with the gunshot.
Yeah.
I thought he was like a great cop. It just seems out of character.
Yeah, and they show him at the the morgue with his hands on his head, like, fuck, I did this. And then that's when the mortician, she was doing the autopsy, right?
Yeah.
Remember her name was slipped my head now, but yeah, she pulls the bullet out, but she makes it clear, and Denzel's partner's there is just like, oh, don't worry, she died other ways. Nothing to do. You didn't accidentally shoot us. So they basically alluded they're going to cover this up.
Yeah.
They're going to cover this
up
up.
Denzel.
Yeah, and that's it. And look, I'd probably cover up for Denzel too.
Why? Yeah.
It's like he's Denzel Washington.
Exactly.
National treasure.
He can't go to jail.
Yeah, we don't want him to go to jail. So he alluded to that's what happened to him. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to come up for because Rami at that point, he's a mess. He knew he was in trouble.
Yep.
So one of the holes, well, at least the hole was already there. He just picked one of the holes he already dug.
Yeah.
Threw the body in
There's
there.
a very Bugs Bunny there, just digging hole after hole.
Yeah.
It's like Elmer, you getting,
No, maybe
Bugs
it's
Bunny
that
drinking
one.
Elmer. Yeah.
So Denzel takes care of business, starts, goes to the apartment, cleans out the apartment. He's like, look, this guy's the kind of loner that would leave town and disappear, and never so people are just going to assume after they pinched him, even though they had no proof, he probably got nervous and he skipped town, so no one's going to miss him.
Right.
So they went back. He picked up around. He made the car disappear. That was a cool scene. You see the car later on stilts. They pulled the tires. Car was gone. Everything about Jared Leto, Sparma was gone.
Sparma no more.
And he basically said, you know what, go back to your life, to Detective Baxter Rami. Go back to your life, go back to your family, take some time off. This never happened.
Yep.
Right? But in the end, it was somewhat of a double swerve. And I don't know if this is where the botched finish happened, because it started to redeem himself a little. One of the things for one of the missing persons that Sparma was the suspect for, they said there was a red hair beret, just like that's what was missing. So there was an envelope that comes to detective's house, Rami Malek. He opens it up and there's a red beret.
Yeah.
So that alluded to, oh, okay, I don't feel so bad now for shellacking this guy with the shovel, because it looks like he was the killer.
He was the main. He definitely did it.
Yeah, because Denzel earlier said, if you give me 5 more minutes in that apartment, I will find the proof to show that, Sparma is the killer. And that was the red beret. But, when they were in the apartment, it really alluded to Denzel was going through all the newspaper clippings that, he's just a fucking mark for murder mysteries, but he didn't necessarily find it. But he did that. So I was like, oh, okay, so, Rami killed a bad guy. It was a baby face taking out a heel. We're fine. But then we end with Denzel, and he's burning all of Sparma's clothes. Like Jared Leto is going to exist no more. All his clothes, everything.
One set of clothes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like he probably,
He
maybe
burned his work uniform.
Yeah, maybe he's like Einstein. Maybe he had 10 different one of those uniforms, but he started burning everything up. But the last thing he burned was a little package that had a bunch of female hair berets, and the red one was missing. So and the receipt. So that goes to show that Denzel bought that beret. He didn't find that just to give Rami that piece that he needed.
Yeah.
Just to do that. So the reason I think that's a botch finish is, Denzel's a national treasure. I'm not surprised that he's willing to take the weight that Rami can't carry, right?
Yeah.
We know that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But what I'm not okay with is just like, we never saw who the real killer was.
Yeah, we didn't.
Like,
get that.
we never even got a hint that they were even close. Like, even just a little sniff, like something like maybe somebody driving away or a car or
Right.
something, because then you can lead to them coming back if they wanted to. So it just didn't feel like a clean finish.
Right. Well, the whole thing felt very. I mean, it feels pretty. I don't want what you want to say. It's standard. It was a standard serial killer investigation type of film. Okay. So we get to the finish, and you're expecting some gratification there. They
Yeah.
get the killer. That's coming. Okay. You've sat through, an hour and a half of the standard build. So you want that satisfying finish, and then they do these swerves at the end.
Oh, yeah.
For what, I don't know, artistic sake? I'm not sure they wanted to make us think. I don't want to think. I want to watch the film that you said we were getting. So it takes these swerves. It's like, well, I don't need that.
No.
I'd have been satisfied if they'd have realized Jared Leto was the killer, and whatever. They have a final showdown. Bang bang. They got him. Good. Society remains safe.
Yeah, justice into their own hands,
Yeah.
right? Because look, I don't know if you're familiar with 2020, but shit out there is fucking real.
Yeah.
It's just like I no longer need IRL on the film. Like, I don't need to be like, well, this could really happen. I fucking hate that they never really found the Zodiac killer in real life. That's like something that people got to go to their grave and not know who this person really was. Nobody knows who fucking Jack the Ripper really was.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's not a clean finish. That makes you feel a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that in our film. And look, maybe when things were a little bit better in real life, it's just like, maybe you can get away with that. But shit is hard right now. Shit is really hard right now. So it's just like, we need a little bit more of a clean finish. We don't need that botched finish. But I'm going to make a controversial statement. I think Denzel, Jared, and Rami both should all could get nominated for award.
I think so. The performances are great.
Their performances were top notch. The directing, everything was good.
Yeah.
It was not a clean finish. And right now in 2021, after the year we just went through, we need a clean finish, and they botched the finish.
I agree.
All right, but what do you think? Do you think that was a clean finish? Did you want a clean finish? Were you okay with a botched finish? I'm not okay with that botched finish. I think that was a fucked finish. So let us know in the comments what you think and what you want to see. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.